The following podcast contains spoilers for Go. You've been warned!
What's up? I just punched the fuck out of my desk. Holy hell. Ow. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glenjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Magusto.
Hello!
Greetings, my friend.
Greetings, how art thou?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Oh, you know, I'm thinking of ending it all.
Oh, really? Me too.
Yeah. Whole family's been sick.
Oh, God.
Just getting over it now. What else? I put up Christmas decorations today, and while I was doing the outside lights, literally the last thing I had to put up, I plugged it in, and a lot of the light bulbs weren't working.
Oh,
and,
God. It's the worst.
It's the one kind of light bulb I don't have extras for. So, yeah.
That time of year. Ask for Santa. Or ask for, if you want to ask for Santa, you could. But you could also ask for the bulb.
I feel like I need them before the 25th, but...
I mean, he might sneak you in a little one-day shipping if you ask politely.
Thank you, Santa Bezos.
I appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, but yeah, what movies you been watching, Glenn?
Ooh.
We've been watching movies. Well, I've been watching movies.
You have been watching a movie. I at
Not
least watched one besides the two that we've seen together, I believe. Well, not necessarily together. One was together. The other one was in spirit, which is good enough for me. So
Yes.
Gladiator 2, which we have a YouTube video up for that one. So have fun watching that. Get back to us when you're done. Or talk to us there. Who knows?
Yes.
So that's on YouTube. And then before I go to bed, I try to put on like a YouTube video or a movie so I could just fall asleep a little bit faster. So I put Gladiator on just to kind of refresh the memory of what I needed to catch up on or not catch up on in Gladiator 2 after we watched it already. Yeah, it's still a fucking solid movie. God damn you, Russell Crowe. Why are you doing the best?
Yes.
And then I'm sure there's probably something in between then and now, but it's been a super chaotic last week and a half, kind of, or maybe not, but it's been super chaotic. But the last movie that I watched was Go, which we shall get into after you tell me all about yours, you sexy man.
Well, I only watched two movies other than Gladiator 2 and Go. First one being Krampus. Krampus Nacht is upon us. Actually, by the time this comes out, it's past. Yeah, so that's one of my favorite horror comedies. Especially if it's a Christmas horror comedy. It's a whole bunch of things. So yeah, just wanted to rewatch it. It's bold of me saying it's one of my favorite horror comedies because this was only the second time that I saw it. But I think it still holds up.
That is pretty bold.
And then I watched Wicked, which... Yeah, so there is absolutely zero reason for them to make it into two parts. The Broadway show was 2.5 hours. The first part of this was 2 hours and 40 minutes, so they've already overshot the Broadway show runtime.
Just a little bit.
And goddamn, 1 year is the longest intermission ever. So, why?
I feel like most movies should split it. I get, kind of production issues and stuff like that, but if you're having a two-parter, it should be one in the beginning of the year and one... Or maybe the first end of the first quarter and then the last.
Yes, like
the beginning of the last quarter.
Horizon was gonna do until Horizon Part 1.
Yeah.
Shat the bed, and then also what the Matrix did. And I feel like other things did. Oh, System of a Down released Mesmerize and Hypnotize in the same year. They're like little
Maniacs.
Twin albums. Yeah. So just a little fun like that. It was fine though, Wicked. I want everyone who loves Wicked to take what I have to say with a grain of salt. When I was in high school, my sisters listened to that album nonstop, and I already kind of didn't want to see it, but you know me, I have to see everything that is noteworthy. And singing's great. Ariana Grande is fucking hilarious. I'll give her that.
Interesting.
She was my favorite part of the whole thing, other than, her character kind of being a shitty person. But that's the whole point.
Yes.
because she's not really a great person, but she wants to be. And then, yeah. The defying gravity part, everyone's getting it wrong. Everyone says that Symphony Arrivo is the best part. But the best part is when the chorus shouts "kill her," because that I've listened to that many times lately, and it gives me chills every single time. Because the original lyrics was "get her," and "get her."
They spiced it up a bit.
Yeah, saying "get her" hints that there might be some due process. Killer is a fucking angry mob.
Yeah, a little bit.
And the chorus, whoever recorded the chorus parts, had some anger in their voice, and
they meant
it was great. And it was great. It was honestly the most honest part. I think they actually wanted to kill Cynthia Erivo, which is so I'm a little worried for her. But if you are a fan of the musical Wicked, you'll probably like it. My sisters destroyed that for me, much like they did Grease and other such things. So yes, but then I watched Go, which we're gonna get into right now. The least Christmas movie ever.
From Doug Lyman, the director of Swingers, Taye Diggs, William Fichtner, Katie Holmes, Breckin Meyer, Jay Moore, Timothy Oliphant, Sarah Polley, Scott Wolf.
You know what I like best about Christmas?
Mistletoe?
The surprises.
When there's nothing to do
So, Zach, would you say you're open to new things?
except what you've done.
Is your British ass happy now?
When you've gone too far to stop.
There's no body, there's no crime. We'll put her in the trunk. Stop! What? Stop it! What? It's a Miata!
Nothing will take you farther.
It's stuck! Oh. Give me that gun!
Go.
The aftermath of a drug deal, as told from 3 different points of view. Directed by Doug Lyman, written by John August, stars Sarah Polley, Jay Moore, Scott Wolf, keep scrolling, Taye Diggs, Katie Holmes, Susan Kroll, Desmond Askew, Nathan Bexton, Robert Peters, Timothy Oliphant, Jodie Bianca Wise, William Fisher, fucking even goddamn Melissa McCarthy's in here as well. Kind of stacked cast, honestly, a little bit. So this was my pick for this week, obviously, by me reading it and such. And I wanted to throw us a kind of curveball there
And boy, did you.
And boy, did I. On the movies we've been seeing, instead of just like a straight Christmas movie, maybe like an obscure one, like this one, because it barely had anything to do with Christmas.
This movie forgets that it's a Christmas movie.
Yep, there's some lines sprinkled in. There's some background, props that are sprinkled in. But it has nothing to do with fucking Christmas at all.
No. This has less to do with Christmas than Die Hard does.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that they only shoehorned the Christmas stuff in because they wanted Katie Holmes' monologue at the end where she talks about why she likes opening presents on Christmas, which wasn't even that good of a monologue.
No.
I'm speculating, of course, so I don't know why they put it in Christmas. Maybe it was Christmas before they wrote that. But it legitimately just forgets that it's Christmas. Other than the first part where it's Sarah Polley's character, Rana, one of those.
Yeah.
And she's driving in a car that's decorated like Christmas. That's pretty
much it. Yeah. I think
and
they
Christmas is mentioned every now and then.
mention some lines, but it's really not that a lot.
Yeah. And Timothy Oliphant puts on a Santa hat. That's it. So, for wanting to watch a Christmas movie, that was disappointing a little bit. But overall, the movie has the same problem. I would consider this an anthology, even though it all takes place in the same world and characters and all that.
Yeah.
But it's 3 separate stories. And the only thing connecting them is this drug deal that goes wrong. But it has the same problem that all anthologies do, and at least in my opinion, where the first story is really, really good, and then the rest of them just don't live up to it, so it just kind of gets boring. There's exceptions to the rule, of course, but Kinds of Kindness is one like that, where the first story was great, and then it just gets slowly worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, while I think The final story in that is my favorite. The middle ones are rough. And then this, I couldn't give a shit what Simon does. I don't give a shit about Simon. You're gonna hit Rana with a car and then make us wait an hour to find out what happened to her. Get the fuck out of here. That's the thing about anthologies, is they always abandon the most interesting parts of the movie.
Dude, I had a fucking Groundhog Day moment too when that, like, after she got hit by the car and it repeated the whole part where she was like taking Simon's shift.
Yeah.
I was like, am I tripping right now?
That's what they were trying to do, but it just, I don't know. It just didn't work because, especially Simon's part. Fuck Simon. Fuck that whole storyline. It was so stupid. It had nothing to do with the drug deal in question other than that, Simon was using the drug dealer's card.
Yeah.
You could have told that in 5 minutes and saved us that time and also made a better short film for it. Like, it probably would have been under an hour if you did that. But it would have been better for it.
I feel like maybe his story was added to make an ending that they wanted to make that was not even that great.
Yeah. And I'll admit, I laughed at the ending. The ending was funny. Mm-hmm. With him offering his arm to be shot instead of being killed. Yeah. And him being, like, happy about it. It made me laugh. But it was not worth I think his segment was the longest. It felt the longest for sure. It felt the longest, yeah.
I think probably because he had the most going on, too.
Yeah. I would say like 45 minutes or whatever. And it just, I don't know, it just screeched to a halt at that part. And
yeah, I don't know.
I was really liking it in the first part with Rana.
I was indifferent about Rana's part. Mainly, I think, because of how kind of stale everyone felt, I guess I could say.
That's the late 90s for me.
Like, their acting just felt stale, and that's nothing against any of these people. It's just kind of how the movie played out. My favorite part was actually between Jay Moore and the actor boyfriend. I forget which actor that is specifically, or is that Scott Wolf? Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part, because I didn't see that necessarily coming, was them being just gay and just that whole segment with William Fichtner.
Yeah, I thought they were going to try to get them into like swinging.
Yeah, that's how they were setting it up.
But then they were just trying to get them into a pyramid scheme.
I thought the whole thing was pretty funny. Like before it twisted to that, like I could give a fuck about any of them. And then it twisted to that little segment that they had going. And I thought that was pretty fucking funny, to be honest. I thought that part was my favorite. The rest of it, I could have cared less, to be honest. It reminded me how much I like Taye Diggs. And kind of how he seems to kind of play the character, or this specific character in a lot of his movies, though. Where it's, what is it? He's surrounded by white people that are acting black, and he's just like, what the hell are you doing? Come on.
Yeah. Or in Equilibrium, where he gets his face cut off, and instead of making a special effect, they just got a JPEG of his face.
Yep.
Masked it and put it on the ground. It's my favorite thing about Equilibrium is that, and not enough people talk about that. That's just a JPEG of his face on top of the film.
It was a weird moment today when I forgot he was in this, and apparently he was in what the fuck is that, Ace Ventura or Ventura, is that what he's in?
Ace Ventura,
yeah, the second one. I'm trying to look right now.
I have not seen either of those films all the way through. You know me and Jim Carrey. You know me and Jim Carrey. We don't really get along. He's other than Dumb and Dumber.
He's not in Ace Ventura. Did my mom fucking lie to me today?
Probably.
Is my mom racist and just mistook Taye Diggs for another black man?
Oh my god! Speaking of that,
oh my god, she totally did. That's crazy.
Caitlin and I were watching with our boys. We were watching the Thanksgiving Day parade, and Dora the Explorer was the balloon and everything. And to her defense, Dora was not on screen when she said this.
Yeah.
but she said, "Hey," she tried to get my oldest attention and said, "Look, Encanto." And I said, "Caitlin, that is Dora the Explorer."
What are you doing, lady?
She just like looked so upset with herself. And then after making fun of her, there was like a Disney float, and it was Coco. And I in my head, I didn't say it out loud because I figured it out before. I was like, "Oh, look, Encanto." So, but hey, at least they're both Disney movies. Dora the Explorer is not Disney, so it might be now. I don't know. But
I'm trying to find the actor that played that character my mom thought was Tay Diggs.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. That's so. I can't wait to fucking rub that in her face. Oh my god. But oh my god, my whole world is just so fucking funny now. That's amazing. What was I even getting to here?
Tay Diggs plays the black guy who's always surrounded by white people who think they're black people.
I think he was in Malibu Most Wanted too, because that's just another one of them. I'm sure there's plenty of others as well.
That was a big thing in the late 90s,
I'm gonna
early
fact
2000s.
check myself just in case I just turned into my mom as well.
Oh, with Viola Davis situation?
Okay, yes, he is in it. Woo!
Hey, you're not scot-free. You've done that with Viola Davis
I have
before.
done that. It made me pretty sad.
But hey, if you were looking at the person you thought was Viola Davis and had a good look at them, you would not have thought it was Viola Davis. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt there. You were just thinking.
Well, now I forget what the actress's name. Alfre Woodard.
Yeah.
If you, it's close enough to where like you could excuse it, but I'm still fucked up by it.
Yeah. But anyway, speaking of,
Yeah.
this is off the rails. But yeah, Tay Diggs. The thing that got me about Tay Diggs is that like 2 minutes into his character's introduction, he's talking about gooning.
Yeah.
Which he calls tantric sex, which I think is the actual
Gotta put
term,
a good
but,
label
like,
on it.
Yeah, the meme term for it now is gooning. And why? I hated Simon's part so much, and I just wanted it to end, and that's probably why it felt so long. But yeah, it was just not good in my opinion, and just distracted from what I actually wanted to know, which is what happened to Rana. I'm trying to think of any good things about that. Like everything they do is just so stupid. It feels like Tay Diggs would not have stolen that car, just because he's the second person that thought he was an employee because he's black. Like, I feel like they didn't set that up enough. It's just, I don't know.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've been going down a rabbit hole looking for this guy.
So
I completely apologize. But I found who he is. Tommy Davidson.
Tommy Davidson? Does he even look like Tay Diggs?
I would not say so. No.
I gotta look him
He
up.
was in Black Dynamite and Living Color, Bamboozled, Proud Family. He was Oscar Proud. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that not even close.
No.
Come on, Lori, you're better than that.
What are you doing, lady?
What are you doing, lady?
Oh my goodness.
but yeah,
I'm sorry.
this-
Anyway, please tell me. Tell me more.
No, this movie got in its own way. Essentially, it was maybe if I was in the '90s and I hadn't seen better movies, I would have liked it. But
Yeah, I think for me the way like I texted you this earlier, which we'll get into in just a second. But when I started the movie, like I had two thoughts about it. One I sent you, which we'll hold on for that for just a second because it's funny. But the second one, I felt like they were setting it up like a Kevin Smith movie, and then it turned into what I texted you, which was more of a "you wouldn't steal a car" type movie.
Yeah, which I also wrote down. Yeah, we both had the same thought.
It's just
it really felt
the
like
music they were playing and just the scenario of that's just how the editing was in the late 80s or 90s, Jesus, 80s and early 2000s. It was just kind of chaotic.
Yeah, we talked about a movie earlier this year, The Beach, that was very similar to that, where it's just like, I don't even know what you would call it, like acid synth or synth, whatever you want to call it. Where it's just like that's just underground rave music.
To me,
as
it's
the score.
just it's like Blade, the Blade Club music, I guess.
Yeah.
Not even. It's hard. It's so hard to describe. But the best way to describe it is, you wouldn't steal a car, because it plays before every fucking DVD or VHS back then. Before it started the movie. So funny, but so crazy at the same time. But it felt like they were setting up sort of a Kevin Smith style movie, the way they were just doing things.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then it
just doing things. That is the epitome of Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
It's just people doing
and
things.
just it's the way they were saying things too. It was just like, are people really saying these things in real life?
Yeah.
Or is this just in Kevin Smith's head?
Yeah.
All love to him, but it's
none of the characters really felt real. The realest part about this was, the American work and care. Other than the fact that I'm pretty sure at 17 years old she could not work a triple shift because she had already worked 14 hours and then she took Simon's shift. So I'm pretty sure that wouldn't happen.
They did a lot of things under the guidance of the rules without the big daddy government knowing. So who knows? Maybe it did happen. Possible.
But then also getting hit by a car and then going to work the next day because you have to.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most American thing I've ever seen.
Because she's got to pay rent.
It's like, ugh.
I
don't get paid sick days or medical days or whatever you want to call it. It's, I don't know. This movie's just kind of all over the place.
It is.
And honestly, after Rana's part and it got into Simon, I was kind of resenting the fact that you picked this.
I mean,
mainly because it forgot it was a Christmas movie and I wanted to watch a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I mean, I did too. I thought it would have dealt at least a little bit more in it, but it didn't at all.
Yeah. I mean, you had good intentions. But fuck you, never do that again.
Yeah, I looked up obscure Christmas movies, and I saw this was in one of the lists that I looked up, and then people were like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." And I was like, "Oh, sure." I
mean, it is bad. Like, had I not gone in wanting a Christmas movie, I probably would have liked it better. Other than Simon's part,
I think a huge thing for me is that, I mean, the mess behind me is I've been scanning photos for like all day, so like I had that going for me. So during the movie, I could be like, okay, scan photo.
It's just, out of everyone that, like you said, doesn't feel like a real person, Simon and his crew are the worst.
Yep.
Like, none of them. Maybe Tay Diggs kind of feels like a real person.
Yeah, but then he's got so much gumption about life and doing things.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay.
And then he goes against, like, his own character to steal a car. And then, like, had it been Simon to steal the car, I would have been like, okay, that feels real. But, like, Tay Diggs, again, just because the guy thought he was a valet, like, I don't know. I still feel like Tay Diggs' character wouldn't have done that.
Well, my favorite part about that, too, is did we ever see what he did with the car?
Nope.
Because when Simon threw the gun out the window, he's like, you gotta go get the gun. Oh, no. And then he's like, it's got your fingerprints on it. And then they went to go get the gun, and then they've got their fingerprints all over the car, too. So whether or not they find the gun, they're still looking for that car, and it's got their fingerprints all over it still, but we never found out that resolution of it. But yeah, I don't know.
Also, I've never been to a strip club.
I hate it. I'm cheap as fuck. I don't like spending money. Love looking at women, but I'm okay not to.
I wouldn't spend money on that.
No.
But, like, I feel like the no touching rule, there'd be at least one warning before everyone shat their pants about it. I could be wrong. Again, haven't gone.
No, they went right into it. They went right into it. Don't fucking touch me. Which again, morally, do not touch women. Period. Unless,
even if you're in that kind of situation.
But unless you're getting permission, don't do that. Especially if a guy tells you not to do that. And he spread some cheeks. I watched him do it.
Yeah, it's just just everything about this movie. I think you nailed it. Where like it just doesn't feel like real people.
No, yeah, it doesn't at all.
Which is fine for a fantasy movie, but if you're portraying a movie as like a realistic comedy, like the things that happen in The Hangover feel more real, and those are infinitely more chaotic than what happens in this. And that just comes to writing. And that you believe in The Hangover that they broke into Mike Tyson's house. In this, you don't believe that Taye Diggs would steal a car. I'm just a loss for words. My favorite part was Timothy Olyphant after Rana gets hit by the car, just kind of doing like a John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, just like
with the coat.
Yeah, like looking around, just like looking at the driver of the car, like, what are you doing?
What just happened?
But then it makes you question, like, what was he gonna do if he was surprised that someone hit someone with a car and then didn't stop? Like, was he just trying to scare her? I wish they had cleared that up.
Well, that's what kind of annoys me about his character too, is that in the beginning he's like this weird hard ass who's just saying some out of pocket shit, and then at the end of the movie he's like relating to Katie Holmes and everything, and then it was like. When did he get a soft spot? Is it from seeing a woman get run over by a car? Because that's crazy. He's going to blow her brains out.
It felt like there was a lot of setup and no delivery. Or, in other cases, there was a delivery with no setup. Like I said, this movie's just all over the place. And I was actually enjoying it in the beginning. And like you said, when it got back to Jay Moore and Scott Wolf's characters, I started enjoying it again. That part was fun, but like the Simon part just put such a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I fucking hated it.
He just kept making wrong choices for
I want to know
reason.
why every 90s and 2000s comedy had to have a British person. Like, no, we had a war about this. We don't need you in our fucking comedies, guy.
Now, was Simon just being a dickhead because he was in a different state and on vacation, or was it like he wasn't doing it in the hometown of L.A.? Was it just he was bending the rules because he was in a different place? But was it the drugs that he was on while he was sleeping with two women?
Like if they kept saying like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Anything. He just went off the fucking rails.
Yeah,
and he didn't even like he wasn't even sniffing any rails. He was
also,
just going
why
crazy.
was he in the trunk in the beginning? Like.
Yeah, I guess
it just has so many things with no explanation.
I guess he was high, or he was on something, whether drunk or high, and they put him in the trunk or something. They kind of mention it very briefly, but before
Breckin-Meyer says the N-word, which completely unnecessary, especially because his character's asleep the majority of that. Like, it's
There was one other thing that I had in my mind just now, and I'm doing when they were doing like the celebrity name thing, like where you have to have like the last letter be the first letter of the next celebrity. Did you think of one for X?
No, because I didn't care.
I thought I was in it. I was like, I want to play this game. When they came, they put Malcolm X. So X had to be the first letter.
Also, pretty sure his last name's not X.
It's definitely not X.
I mean, I'm
pretty sure his name's not Malcolm either. I can't remember that.
But then he changed it again. His final name, which is what we should be calling him, is El Haj Malik El Shabazz. So, but yes, I know he's more famous as Malcolm X, but. If you're gonna honor the man, honor him correctly.
The point I was getting to, is with the celebrity name that they were basically like famous people, not necessarily celebrities. And the first person I thought of was Xerxes. I was like, "Fuck yeah, Xerxes, of course." X, fucking. They never said it. It was easy. It was so easy. It was in my pocket, and I was waiting for him.
And he was assassinated in Persepolis, Iran, in 465 BC.
Are we talking about Malcolm X or Xerxes?
Xerxes, obviously. Malcolm X was from the last 100 years.
Assassinated at a different time, sadly.
Yes, yes.
The assassination, not him dying. Wait, what?
I mean, Malcolm X dying sad.
Yes.
Xerxes, if he was still alive, that'd be fucking terrifying if he was still alive.
Sex is repeatedly a bad omen. Ron and Todd talk about sex as a metaphor of betrayal of all their scenes. I don't give my best friend said Simon is having sex. Okay. Interesting.
So this movie hates sex.
Sex is a bad omen, so they're talking about it the whole time.
Yeah.
And doing it the whole time. Is that was that their theme in this? Is that what they were going with? Because that's kind of...
It's lost if that's the case.
Sex is reportedly a bad omen. Rana and Todd had a sex metaphor. Simon was having sex. Zach and Adam talked about cheating. Todd and Claire on the stairs. That is... all right. That's kind of crazy.
Where do you see that?
That's in the spoilers trivia.
Oh.
I feel like
Yeah,
they could have been more prominent with that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. That's a kind of stupid theme to go with, I guess. So,
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't really have anything else to say.
I don't either.
Fuck Simon.
Fuck Simon.
Not Desmond Askew, the guy who plays him. He did a great job playing someone that I absolutely hated. But fuck John August for writing him, and Doug Liman for not cutting him out of the movie.
It is kind of... I'm curious. Did you watch Swingers? I've never watched Swingers.
No, I have not seen Swingers.
I'm curious how this movie is different compared to...
I have an aversion to movies with posters like this, and Swingers has a similar poster to this.
Kind of crazy Doug Liman made Edge of Tomorrow.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Was not the best time for poster art. So
yeah, no, it was not. They were on things, that's for sure.
Yes, they were. But yeah, that's all I really got to say.
Yeah, I think me too.
So that does it for a review of Go. That brings us to the judgment. As always, it needs to be a unanimous decision whether it goes to the KFR Shelf with the Legs of Possible and Handmaiden. Glenn, this was your pick, so you get to go first. Does Go make it onto the Christmas shelf? Also just the KFR shelf.
Let me think real hard about this one. Let me just take a moment. No.
Yes.
A Christmas shelf, it barely had any Christmas in it. Like you said, Die Hard had more Christmas in it. And this takes place during Christmas, but has a few lines and some background props sprinkled in.
Vegas didn't even look decorated for Christmas, and I'm sure they go crazy for it.
Yeah, and I'm sure they probably filmed in the summer, too.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, it was just okay. Like, I wouldn't say this is a bad movie necessarily, but it just...
Yeah, I'd agree.
It just wasn't that good either.
Yes. I would agree wholeheartedly. Not enough Christmas to go on the Christmas shelf. Not good enough to go on the regular shelf. But yeah, not a bad movie. As much as I said I hated Simon's part, there were parts of it that I thought were good.
Yeah.
But just overall, that's when it got like really cartoonish for me, where the rest of it wasn't. Not that it was realistic, but it wasn't cartoonish. Where, it just... The Simon part just kind of felt like Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny going bonkers. But yeah, so Go does not make it on the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. That brings us to the next episode. So this is the last episode of 2024. We are taking a sizable hiatus, so Glenn can be a moving boy.
I don't think I told these guys yet, but hey.
Yeah, give them your new address.
Yeah. I will be moving. I'm currently in the process of renovating as well.
Yes.
And I just got a bunch of other stuff going on right now. So
yeah, so we're just going to give them some time.
Yeah.
So probably sometime in February we'll get back to it. But because of that, we're not going to do a streaming roulette movie or give an assignment at all, because we don't know if that movie will be streaming 2 weeks before the next episode. So we are going to have a little mini
break
catch-up episode when we are ready to do that, and we'll tell you the movie then. So go watch movies you want to watch.
I see what you did there. Go.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. Shut up. Shut your face. I hope you're doing that regardless. But yeah, so thank you everyone for listening and watching. As always, you can check out our website at www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we're Keystone_film_review. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Keystone Film Review on Letterboxd. I'm Mike, KFR.
And I am Glenn, KFR.
And that will do it until we see you again to tell you what movie we're going to watch in sometime next year.
Eventually.
Yes, happy holidays and happy new year.
And, kiss under the mistletoe and watch them balls drop. Ball drop.
Yes. Bye-bye.